Hey friends, Stacy here at Hen House Blossoms. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I am a first-year cut flower gardener, doing this strictly for my personal purposes to enjoy flowers in my home and share with friends and family. And the purpose of this channel is to document all of my wins and all of my fails. So next year I will be able to go back and see what worked and what didn't work, and also to share with all of you who are also thinking about starting a cut flower garden. It is time, high time, I give you guys some updates. First of all, here in Maryland, I know in a lot of other places as well, but we have been having 100, 101, and 102 degree days. It's been very hot. There's not been a whole lot of gardening going on. What little bit I am doing, I'm getting up first thing in the morning, doing a little bit in the morning, and then I'm doing a little bit in the evening as well. That's really about all that's happening. I am hoping and praying for some rain because our farmers around here desperately need the rain. We haven't had any in a while. Time for some updates on what's going on with the garden. Let's see, first of all, flower gardening has turned into a game of what's eating my plants today. Nothing big. I fortunately, touch wood, haven't had to deal with deer or rabbits or anything of that nature, but I definitely have been cycling through some pests. I'm at that point of trying to identify what the pests are and then how to deal with them. I really don't want to be using a lot of pesticides or anything of that nature because I really don't want to be doing any harm to my pollinators. So it's just trying to figure out how to deal with each of the situations as they come along. The first pest I've been dealing with is June beetles. June beetles or June bugs. They're the little reddish brown beetles that only come out at night. They had moved in pretty hard on my zinnias, and I'll show you some updates on those. And now they've moved from the zinnias to the sunflowers. I'm going to show you a quick video on how we have been dealing with the lovely June beetles. I feel like flower gardening has become a constant game of what's eating my plants today. So we've had a lot of damage on the sunflowers as well as on the zinnias, and the culprit, these little guys right here. These are June beetles. So Paisley and I have been coming out late at night and basically just trying to find as many of them as we can and put them in this jar of just soapy water, and that's how we're dealing with them. But you can see the damage that they're doing. They were all over the zinnias. Now they have moved in on the sunflowers.
We've gotten 32 bugs so far.
So they are harmless. You can just grab them and put them in. But yeah, this is what we're dealing with right now. And since we were just talking about the sunflowers, let's go ahead and give an update on them. In general, they're doing fantastic. Look how tall they are. And the reality is I really won't be using the leaves much in arrangements, but I still don't want these buggers out here eating on my plants. And you can see what they're doing to my poor plants. This is all damage from those pesky little June beetles that are coming out at night. We've got some flowers that are getting close to opening up. In general, they're not looking too bad. You know, I'm not happy about this leaf damage, but again, I really won't be using the leaves too much in my arrangements. I really was hoping this guy was going to be my first one to open up. So while we're here in the sunflowers, we have had another pest attacking the sunflowers. And I'm going to see if I can get in here and find some. I have had lace bugs, not lace wings, lace bugs. They are teeny tiny bugs, and what they do is they go in and they suck, I guess it's like the sugary portions off of the, here we go, see if I can zoom in there. Those little guys right there. Those are lace bugs. And what they are doing to the plants is, see all these yellowish spots on here? They go in and they suck out, from what I read, the sugary portions of the leaf, basically kind of, I guess, taking some of the moisture and the nutrients out. And these guys, the way we've been dealing with them is I've come out a handful of times and sprayed all the plants off just with a hose at night. There you can see those guys right there, to just kind of try and dislodge them from the plant. Again, reality is I'm really not going to be using the leaves in my arrangements, but I have no idea what kind of long-term damage these critters are going to do to my plants. I'm attempting to deal with them in the least harsh way possible to the plants as well as to my pollinators. So now I'll pop on over to the zinnias and give you guys some updates on those. I mentioned that the Japanese beetles, not the Japanese beetles, I'm sorry, the June beetles have done a lot of damage to my zinnias. And once again, you can see the damage they were doing. If you remember from previous videos, these plants were much bigger. I came in here recently and did a really hard cutback on these guys. I think that they will recover. I mean, in general, they look like they didn't take any damage at all with my cutback. These are my larger zinnias, still putting out some beautiful blooms. All right. And I did some cutting back to these guys as well. I'm slowly working my way down the bed and doing some serious cutting back on all these flowers. But gosh, look at them. Aren't they beautiful? If these start producing the long stems that I'm hoping for, and they are already starting to produce slightly longer stems. You can see some of the damage on, oh, no, not really much damage on that one. So for some reason they don't like the white ones, which is so interesting. I'd been told that a lot of the white flowers would attract more bugs. Guess I'm getting lucky on that one. Again, we're getting some great length on this guy. Oh, and here comes my flower.
And flowers.
She's covered in flowers, just like our garden.
I didn't even plan that.
Nope, she didn't plan that. We got a beautiful sunset, looks like, too.
Oh yeah, over there.
All right, so I still have not had a chance to cut these guys back, but now you can get in there and see the damage that the June bugs have been doing. This is all damage from those pesky June bugs that we've been dealing with. The zinnias that were my succession plan that I planted at a later date, they're a little slower coming up than I anticipated, but the reality is it's still only the middle of July. We have lots of growing time on them.
They're June bugs.
The June bugs, yes. So they should be done, right?
Yeah, because it's July.
Coming on over to this bed, I still have yet to put anything in these open spaces. I need to make a decision on what I am going to put in here that might be a fall flower. And I guess if I'm going to make that decision, I need to do it soon. My snaps have been doing really nicely. I've been cutting a lot of cuts off of these guys and bringing them in to enjoy. My dahlias. The new ones are doing fantastic. The original dahlias that I placed, I'm a little indifferent to. I'm still loving this guy. And this, I found some lacewings on earlier, so I'm guessing they're the ones that have been doing the spotty damage on these guys. And looks like we've had some of the June beetles in here as well. But these guys are doing okay. They're definitely not growing as big as I was hoping for. I keep trying to cut them back, seeing if we can get a little more height on them. And some of them are getting a little bit taller. You can see this guy is getting a little bit taller, but I just don't think these were varieties, again, that were really meant to be super tall cut flower varieties. I do need to come out and do some pruning on these guys. I did start doing the disbudding. Oh, I missed one here. And that has seemed to help getting things to be a little bit taller. But in general, they definitely seem to be more of a home variety of dahlia and not a cut flower variety. All right, the cosmos. The cosmos. They seemed to take absolutely forever to produce. But
I'm matching.
she's matching. Actually, you match the zinnias out front, those pink flowers.
This one matches that one.
Yeah. These guys took absolutely forever to grow, but you can see now they are growing fantastically. I do need to come back here and do some cutting to them and make some arrangements. I absolutely love these just for this foliage. And I know a lot of other cut flower gardeners use them not so much for the flowers. Yes, the flowers are beautiful. They don't have quite as long of a vase life on them, but this foliage is fantastic just for filler. Look at the colors on these. These are beautiful. And in the front row here is that Bright Lights, and this is the one that was even longer to produce. Again, I don't think I'm all that crazy about this one. It's these long, gangly flowers. I mean, they are sweet. They give it definitely a more whimsical feel, but I don't know that I love them. You know, we have some down here that aren't even, getting height to them. These were also the ones that had a hard time seeding, so I don't know that I would do that variety again next year, just because I'm not crazy about them in general. I mean, yeah, they're sweet, but I would definitely do more in this variety next year. All right, one last update that is in the vegetable garden, but again, it is for the cut flowers, are the 2 basil plants, and these guys are doing fantastic.
Yeah.
When I first put these guys in, my husband's like, they're not gonna make it. I was like, yes, they will, they'll be fine. That is lemon basil.
Whoa.
And then this one over here, which I absolutely adore, and I think I will plant a lot of this next year. This is the cinnamon basil. This has those gorgeous purple flowers to them, and they're just stunning. Smell them. It smells like basil. So the vegetable garden is also doing fantastic. I think my zucchini is finally slowing down, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So that's how things are going right now. One last comment / observation I would like to make. The paper. The fabric, it's the fabric, the mulch fabric stuff. This is not the plastic mulch. This is the fabric, okay? I don't know that I would use it again next year, because if you see, weeds are still growing. They're just growing in mounds underneath. Is it taming the weeds around the base of my plants? Yes, I'm still having to go in and kind of do some weeding around the bases of the plants. But in general, I'm not all that crazy about it. I actually might not use anything at all next year because, however it was that my husband tilled the sunflowers, they've actually been doing really good in the weed department. I did come in the other night and pull a handful of weeds, but not much. You can see, I know, in general, the weeds really are not all that bad. And believe it or not, I actually don't mind doing weeding. All right, that's it for the updates for today. In general, things are still going okay. We're starting to fight some various little insects. They're not really, in the end, making a huge difference in how we are producing and how our flowers are turning out. It's just finding that balance of how to deal with them. Again, I don't want to use any kind of insecticides, kids, animals, pollinators.
Animals, yeah, we have animals.
Yeah. So I really don't want to be using anything like that in the garden. I will keep you updated on my progress on dealing with each of these things. I am going to treat in the fall for the June beetles and the Japanese beetles. I will be treating the ground to take care of them while they're in the larva stage. I'm really hoping that will kind of tame this problem a little bit for next year and in the coming years. I know that is a process that sometimes takes a couple years to actually see major differences in the results. Hopefully it will work because they have done a number to my grapes, they've done a number to my zinnias, and they are working really hard on my sunflowers. So for Paisley and Quinn and myself, that's it for today's video. Happy flowering, and I'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget to join with me on Instagram at Henhouse Blossoms and on Facebook as well. Take care. Bye-bye now.